Well, hello, friends. Thank you for dropping in today. My name's Kelly, and in today's video, I'm going to focus on 5 things I wish I would have known before I got married. And I'm hoping that I can reach someone before you're married, or even maybe early in your marriage, or heck, even well seasoned. We can all learn something new, right? And the first one I want to focus on today is communication. Now, communication is a big one because so many times we are in a relationship and we're just kind of like, oh, I wish this would change or that would change, and we'll just keep our mouth quiet. And I am all about giving people grace. Okay, don't get me wrong, don't look into this too far, but if we just hold our tongue too much, then we're compromising. So, ladies especially, make sure you're communicating to your partner. This is what's on my heart. Now, there's a right and a wrong way of doing that. You don't want to be abrasive, but nice and gentle, like, hey, that really hurt my feelings when you said that, or can we maybe try things this way, whatever it may be. And, you pray and you seek, and God will give you the right words. But communication, I wish I would have known how important that was early in my marriage. And along with that, I would say the second most important thing would be just, seek a pre-marriage counselor or a pastor. Talk with someone that is not related to you both. Sit you both down and just go over, what marriage is all about. Why are you getting married? Talk about the fundamentals. And the best way you're going to succeed is by having either a pastor or a counselor. I wish that, not that our marriage is bad, I'm not saying that, but if I could go back to almost 21 years, we would have done that. I would have said, Jeff, let's go sit and talk with Pastor, get his insight. And, I just come with a lot of experience in this area because I've been married quite a long time. And sitting down with a third party does so good. And it just helps lay that foundation. Not that your marriages will ever be perfect. We are not striving for perfection. We're striving for better, right? So those 2 things are at the top of my list. And along with that is money. I mean, money's a biggie. So many times marriages fall apart because of money. Whether that be not living on a budget or secret spending. I mean, we can't be having secrets, first of all. And secret with money, I've seen it with my own eyes where, a wife would go out and just do frivolous spending and just, hide that spending. And that is not wise, because you can't build a relationship on, distrust and, mismanaging money. That's just not right at all. So, make sure you're talking about the finances. What is your partner? What are they striving for? What are you striving for? It's always good to talk about these things in the beginning, and I didn't write this down, but you can consider this an extra. Do you want children? Do you want to build a family? Maybe you don't want children. These are things you want to talk about ahead of time, because once you get in that marriage, you're bonded, and those vows are taken under, God, and that's a serious thing. Now, the world will tell you, you don't need to be married. This person's boring, just give up. And I'll tell you, you start doing things the way the Lord wants you to, you're going to get fought. You're going to have all these voices coming at you. And it's going to be very tempting to want to just say, okay, I'm done. Don't do it. Ladies, as long as you're not being abused, he's cheating on you, as long as, it's things that you can work through it. Don't be so quick to give up, because you go through times where it's like, man, this is really going well, but then there's times where it dips and it's really tough and you're like, I just want to be done. I'll tell you, if you just hang in there, you'll reap the rewards later. And yeah, another thing too I just thought of is, constantly learn about each other. People change. When Jeff and I got married, we were different people than we are today. We're not the same. What we both liked, 20, 21 years ago is not the same with what we like today. Just constantly learn that person. What does he like to do, ladies? Invest. That's so much more important than investing in other things. You put God and your spouse first. I'm not saying that life will be perfect, but things will fall into place. I often refer to life as a puzzle, and all these little things we do are little pieces of the puzzle, right? And marriage is a big one, especially in God's eyes. So you honor the Lord by putting him first and just seeing what can I do to make his day better? What does he like to do? Now, for an example, I'll talk about our life. Now, my husband likes guns. Do I like guns? Not really. I mean, I think it's more of a guy thing. Maybe some women like guns, but I'm not one of them. So what I decided to do for him is I took the class and I got my permit to shoot. And I went out with him. I haven't done it lately. I need to get better about that. But I went into his world, right? And just invest in what he liked. And I'll tell you, that just made things so nice. I mean, he was so happy the day I went out just to, point and shoot the gun. I mean, it was a small deal to me, but it meant so much to him. And vice versa. He does it for me too. Just different things that I've tried along the way. If there's a craft or if there's something I wanted to do, he invests in me. And, even through thick and thin, I look back and I'm like, man, he was always there for me. And ladies, we can do that. We can do better. It's not always about us. We live in a very me generation. Let's stop that. It's not always about us. If we take the time and step back and just say, hey, and ask our, soon to be husband or husband, what is it that you like to do? And just invest that time. You won't regret that at all. It does come back. And yeah, I would just, keep asking the questions. Don't ever give up on learning him and what he likes. And I want to be very sensitive here because I'm not sure who's watching this. So I'm trying to be very careful how I word this. How am I trying to say this? So men are very visual, okay? So if you're with a good one, he's going to not, pay attention to all this that's out there, okay? But at the same time, knowing that, just make sure you're, taking care of his needs, if you can read between the lines, and never use what I'm talking about as a weapon. Don't ever do that, ladies. No matter how upset you get with him, don't ever, dangle that in front of his face. It's not nice, first of all. And it really can hinder that relationship. So don't ever use that as a weapon. Nope, I would never do that. I'm not going to speak on my own. That's private. But I will say, I've learned along the way that you don't use that as a weapon. It just never goes well. Always make sure you're taking care and nurturing that relationship, especially if you want it to thrive. I wish I would have known that years ago. I wasn't always a good wife. I would, press buttons and know what made him mad and go there. And what is that solving? It's not solving anything. So just, these are things I would just, keep in mind. If you have to jot these down, jot it down. And no relationship is ever perfect. And I have a bonus one at the end. So instead of 5, I'm giving you 6. And don't ever stop dating your mate. Just because you are married for 5 years, 10 years, I still go out on dates with my husband to this day. I'll tell the kids, all right, kids, here's your dinner. Your dad and I are going out on a date. And they just know, okay, it's mom and dad's time. And they don't call or text us unless it's an absolute emergency. And we have that time together. It's so important, especially in the days that we live in. We live in a culture, like I said before, it's all about me. And not investing in relationships. So make sure, you're continually dating. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. I know when our kids were really little, it was hard for us to find a babysitter. So what Jeff and I would do is we put the kids to bed, pop some popcorn, watch movies on the couch, and just have time together. Even something like that does not have to cost a lot of money. Going out on a little hike. Those are some examples. So, whether you're married, or not married yet, or you've been married 30 or more years, always continue to date your spouse. Invest, invest, invest. That, if you can get anything out of this video, just keep the word invest in your mind. And I promise you, it just gets better. Even at times where it's like, man, that person's driving me crazy. Just do your part. Stay in your lane. Don't worry about what he's doing. You worry about what you're doing. And invest and give your all. And I promise you, it gets better. And I hope this finds you well today. Ladies, we sometimes, just like a car, we need a tune-up. And we just need to just do things a little bit better, right? I know I'm guilty. We tend to always focus on, well, he's not doing this or he's not doing that. Well, you can't control him, but you can first pray for him and you can invest in him, okay? So I hope this finds you well. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.